It's that time once again. Made an abyss. And when we left off, Rika and Reg were about to descend down a large, chasm, wasn't it? Circular hole in the, this layer of the abyss. One that there is probably not much chance of them returning from. So, that's nice. But with the significant training that they received from Ozen and, the other mysteries that I'm sure they're going to get into along the way, I'm excited to see what's in store. So, let's get on and see, shall we? Oh yeah, the heartfelt goodbye from Marok. Because they finally found people he could confide in and some quote-unquote friends. It is quite a good, somewhat metaphor for actual life, you know. You meet lots of people along the way that you may lose touch with and never see again. But you hold them in your memory, and no matter what happens, that's a smaller hole. And it's just how easy that death is. How kind. For the most part. There's not much really to read in with Ozen's words there, is there? Obviously there is, but it seems kind of slightly out of place for Reg, because he isn't exactly in the same ballpark of vulnerability. And he has the ability to kind of take care of himself. Of course, finding out the exact reason or origin for him and his existence would be nice. I'm not sure if they're going to give it to us, but at least some inkling towards it I'd be happy with. Flat squirrels. You made a good guess. So I see the kid has gotten over the illness. We saw him getting better when he was taken away from the abyss slightly and onto the boats, but I think that was the last time we actually saw anything about it. Mm-hmm. Of course, descending is slightly easier than ascending. Oh, goodbye, little squirrel. Yeah, as excited you are to see the inhabitants of this place. Oh, I see. And continue to duck in and out of the walls. I see. Yeah, using them as bait. Kind of unfortunate for the squirrel guys, but that's life. What was that noise? If he hadn't turned around, I would just imagine it was the I can't remember what she called them. Wabberjacks. I know that's from Skyrim. So either it's something from his memory, or something that we've seen before, but I've forgotten what it is. And they aren't particularly afraid of them either, so they just kind of let them be made into stew. Hmm. Either ruins or another remnant of, like, his incinerator. Oh yeah. And how is it embedded into the rock face? Good question. Should you really be just walking about? Oh no. What could have left all of that? Nest? That's why you shouldn't go wandering off. Yeah, but that might be better, wouldn't it? Choke it to death with one of your hands while you beat it with the other one. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Go for the kill, but make sure that you don't call out anything bigger in the meantime. And just after being given that warning... Oh... The, dragon worm thing. In trouble. Good thing they got the advance warning that something big's coming. So, not only is it already just a big old monster, but it has a grudge. Throw the squirrels at it. Why, instead of pulling, why not pull? Pushing, why not pull? Well, you've escaped that threat, but yes, we know you're full of pep and confidence in yourself, but what are you? Oh, okay. Using his arms as extra leverage to pull him along. So Reg has now been turned into a sled, essentially, hasn't he? And even though being told to stay put, she's kind of got something to prove in the way of being able to survive. All you gotta do is find more of those squirrel guys. Should have just stuffed a load into the backpack. Yes, how fortuitous. And how likely is it that this is just going to lead you straight into a trap? Well, the walls of the cave has changed, hasn't it? Oh, and that's not an obvious pitfall. Carnivorous plant, maybe? Is that lots of little bits of the squirrels? Lovely. What a great existence just to be sat in one place and having food fall into you. To be fair, it's going to be a good story if she makes it out of here, but Reg's not going to be too impressed that she managed to find herself in this in the first place. Oh. The internal pressure of that thing, having to leak out like that. You might want to wash it all off, though. Or is it because there's like some of their dead friends over there, or because are they attracted to the smell fruit liquidy stuff? Yeah, there we go. They should be able to tell the difference between a living being and some fruit. But then again, I'm not saying squirrels have an amazing intelligence. Splat. I'm sure some of them might not have survived that fall, so you got food as well, haven't you? Where there's light, there's also potential danger. And a complete change in geology. Look up, what do you see? Oh, You could be suffering the fate, well, not the fate, but all the side effects and symptoms. Can't you just block the hole that you're coming from with Reg's body for a while until he wakes up? I mean, that's all he's really good for at the minute, isn't it? Rather than pressing through all of this on your own. And it's just going to get worse the more she presses onwards. It's being a bit more graphic with the symptoms now, isn't it? Hallucinations. At least she's sane enough to realise everything that's going on. And as long as you keep that focus. That's one thing she is good for, though, isn't it? Okay, you really should be able to tell that that's not entirely real. What is she now walking into? Wow. That hallucination has got some strong effects. Some might actually prefer this to the real life. And the fact that you're able to get back there so easily and no explanation. And of course, everyone that we've been introduced to is in the crowd there. Oh, it only took you this long to realise that he's absent. This is only your subconscious talking. I can't give you any new information. Hold on to your conviction, Rico. You should snap out of it soon. Yep. She did well, considering that she is technically still a red whistle and a child. It's back. Oh, of course. You only just realised that you actually had something to defend yourself with. You can only use it a few times, though, so make it count. Why didn't he do that to the thing he fought before instead of incinerating its face? Although I'm not going to complain that we get to see the everlasting gunpowder pick. That was kind of impressive. It's only just occurred to her. That's not a good sign, by the way. Yeah, without her drive to keep pushing onwards. Not bad. And with the outcrops there. Eggs for what precisely? Nice, some bioluminescent water again. At least it's what appears to be the bottom of the chasm. Or at least that layer of the chasm. So were the tunnels that they were crawling through, were they just like naturally formed caves in the wall, or the burrows of the squishy little squirrel things? Uh, I quite liked how it had shown the different creatures and their place in this world, and that they've grown to adapt to feed on each other. Like the furballs loved the fruit that is their main food source, so creatures evolved to give off a scent of the fruit to draw them in, so it can digest them. Yeah, I mean we see that in our nature. Um, Mostly that tactic is used and implemented by plants, as far as I'm aware. But it shows that the writers of this have actually thought about things, haven't they? And of course, I'm not going to complain because that was informative, character building. Rico actually did something instead of just relying on Reg, even though she did rely on him once again. But for the most part, she was using her own wiles and her own wits to succeed. And when it's not something truly terrifying, she is capable. She would have made a fine blue whistle. I don't want to give her too many praises right now. And of course, is Reg going to be able to master his use of his incinerator to the point where he can actually use it without having to take a short rest? Because that would seem like something important to learn pretty quick. Although, if he did, then he'd be somewhat overpowered, so therefore make the entire journey a little less hazardous and rewarding for us to watch. It was also really pushing forward the whole concept of the curse of the abyss and the effects, even with a slight gradient like that was, you're still suffering the full effects. So the abyss really doesn't want you to get out at all, does it? And whether it is a curse or the will of a sentient being, who knows? And I'm probably never gonna get to have that question answered. Although, if it was under the control of someone or something, then that thing has something to hide, doesn't it? Or it wants to share love with everyone, and that's why it's trying to draw them in and doesn't want them to leave. Not the right way to go about things, is it? Now, I just know that if you managed to make it this far into the video, then you have enjoyed it, so why not show me that you did as well? So if you think I've deserved it, like the video, and if you haven't, subscribing to the channel definitely helps me out. But that's all the time I've got right now. Get yourself some rest, and I'll see you in the next one.